The forces of chaos should be easy pickings for our runners tonight. Good evening, everyone. This is Wolfman 2000. You may also know me as Danstad. But tonight, I will be your guide through this ever-changing castle. As we have currently Gozengatta on your right, and I believe it will be Mageius on our left. We have some additional runners, as we are preparing for an upcoming tournament for Aria of Sorrow Randomizer. What is randomized in this game, you may ask? Our tradition is for the full flag set, which means items are randomized, the shop is randomized, the soul drops are randomized. But most importantly, our endgame conditions are randomized. We will get to that once we find certain items. For now, though, our runners wish to take off. They are waiting for the signal to enter the castle. They should have that signal about now. And already some in chat are curious about these endgame conditions. So, this game has continued the tradition of having multiple endings in the Igavania series. And so, we have to find particular souls throughout the castle. And there we go. Mageius has recalled the skip cutscene button, as Gozengatta has already taken off. Now Gozengatta... Oh! Once again, the Black Panther shows up early. Which means we will be dashing across. Mageius has that as well, as we are already diving into the underground reservoir. I thought I saw a combat knife before we entered the water proper, and at the end of the... Ooh! Who left the rotten meat there? No thank you. And it was not a combat knife, just a normal knife. At this point, our progression seems to want to take us to the upper part, but there is a boss along the way. And that boss is right here. Say hello to the creaking skull. We have access to our initial soul, which is always what it is in vanilla. And we take advantage of those long-distance spears to make our way through. Some gym clothes are our reward. we have received an enemy drop soul. Now, Ugobek is not one that I like to play with. However, it's not a big deal. Any drops that come from the enemies are not considered in logic. And while I was explaining that, and I did catch that, Gozengatta did pick up a whip sword. Some may like the whip sword because, as you notice, we're not playing as a Belmont. And some may like the feeling of a whip in their hands. It does give us decent range. And this early in the game, it works well for attack power. Mageius needs to be careful. There we go. Oh, and the random drop of Allura Une. Nice. As we welcome SpeedGaming to Aria of Sorrow Randomizer. Two armor sets, or rather one armor set and one black belt, but a rune ring, well, it is better than nothing. And oh, multiple meanings of that phrase. That is good to know. Gozengatta does feel like a Belmont right now, cooking that whip sword. And Mageius, the same way. Most of the time in this rando, we do not stick around to grind for levels. And so if we have to attack, we would prefer to attack safely. At this point, our way forward is to the chapel. We have to get across some of these long corridors in order to make it. Mageius deciding to hope for good drops from the enemies. Not too much yet, but who knows. Sees the black belt and chooses to take it. Not bad for an early game item. Gozengatta's in trouble, but is through the stone armor and has hit safety. Down this path, ooh, Malphas Soul. We now have the ability to double jump. And Belmont has been found. Now, for those that are curious, Belmont is a very strong sword, but it is a little on the slow swinging side. Still, for 100 extra attack, it may be worth wielding right now. Gozengatta is the first to enter the chapel area and finds 1,000 gold. There is still more to find in this area. We may not be able to reach every single item. We can certainly see it. Gladius, or Gladius. At this point, thanks to Belmont, it is not really useful. Likewise, the Whip Knuckle, it is too little too late. Still, oh! Mageius takes an unfortunate death as we just had a Succubus Soul found, I believe, from an enemy drop. Ah, the bone tower, the bone pillars. Certainly not a bad find. The Succubus Soul allows you to recover health on every physical weapon swing. At this stage in the game, every bit of health works. Exactly. 5 hit points per physical swing. The unfortunate part about Mageius' game over is you have a long stretch to go through before you can hit another save point. But at the very least, a lubricant drop may balance things out, as Gozengatta is now going against the Manticore. Excuse me, was going against the Manticore. And I see a soul canister. Evil Butcher is the next one. As we find these soul canisters, I am taking notes of their color. Oh, nice find with the Armor of Water. That's a good mid to late game armor. To get back to what I was saying earlier, pay attention to the souls that come from the canisters. Those are the potential souls that we need to look out for. Though, admittedly, the Iron Golem was a decent find. It did come from an enemy, so it may not be important. But it is too soon to tell, as Gozengatta finds what is effectively our green rupee of the game. But does find a Collat Bulb. Now this Collat Bulb is a little weaker than the Belmont, but it is Darkness Elemental, so for the few fights... Oh, and the Tear of Blood. We are finding everything in the study right now. The Collat Bulb may be good to keep. There are some enemies that are weak to darkness, after all. Mageius trying to get some extra magic and health. Gozengatta decides to pass on. I could not tell if that was tea or coffee. All I know is they are common throughout. Oh, but cursed. When you are cursed, your magic slowly drains away from you, and thus you cannot use your souls. Now, what is this about souls? Why are we playing as someone who can work with soul? Who are we, anyway? We are Soma Cruz. Someone who is visiting Japan, or lives in Japan, it's hard to tell. But why are we in Castlevania? The castle was sealed in an eclipse. Ooh, was that a potato pancake I saw? Well, we're not getting it there. As Mageius now has Malphas. And a Runting. Not bad for a poison-type weapon. But yes, we are inside Castlevania, inside of an eclipse. This is why I mentioned the moon at the start. And for those wondering where our slide ability was, there you go. It was locked behind the backdash skull. Mageius is going up the chapel, as Gozengatta is done with the great armor. And ooh! Oh, silver plate, I think. Between that and the armor of water, ooh, I mean, they are both good armors. But more importantly, we have unlocked the shop. Hammer is our shopkeep. Ooh. White dragon, not the greatest. But we'll take what we can get. As Gozengatta has picked up that potato pancake. Not the right season to make latkes, but we will certainly have our potatoes when we want. At this point, Gozengatta is trying to head back towards the chapel where there is a warp. This warp will take us back to the beginning of the castle, and from there, we have to make a decision as to where to go. Some runners will choose to head towards the dance hall. Some may choose to try to sequence break and head towards the floating gardens. Mageius has found safety and is approaching the Manticore. And also has Belmont equipped. Four stabs is all it takes. The warp has been activated. Welcome back to the front of the castle, as Mageius can now throw knives. I did not see a mistletoe pick up, but it is entirely possible that I had missed it. Gozengatta is right now deciding no more checking of those items. There is one above our starting area, Kunitsuna. But let's talk more about Hammer. Once we sell some of the things that we have found, we will then use that gold to make some purchases. Remember that Hammer's inventory is randomized per seed and flags. Today, nice to see Mind Up and Mana Prisms. And right now the store is not offering too much. As we defeat more bosses, Hammer's inventory will stock up. And just like that, Mageius has pretty much caught up. Both getting some interesting souls in Big Golem and Siren. Again, not souls that I personally use much, but sometimes we work with what we have. And oh ho ho ho! Alora Une is one of the canister souls. Mageius may not be aware, but he managed to get one early. And I do agree, chat. Hammer having healing items for purchase is a very good thing. Even if we just have to work with grapes. But then again, I think Soma is the type of character to like grapes. The cream puffs, that one will remain in dispute. As we head to the lower parts of the dance hall, there are a few checks available here. I believe that was a Gorgon soul that was picked up from the enemy. And now, we can become rich, potentially. I don't know how often the gold ring is used when found in randomizer runs. Oftentimes, when we see the Tear of Blood, that is our go-to. I did not get a good look of what item was in that small crevice by Gozengatta. But I think we are okay missing it. But for now, it is time for another battle, this time against the big golem. Some of our participants like to attack golem from the front. Some take a damage boost to go behind. When you have a big sword like that, it may not matter. The big golem will die anyway. Mageius now has that Tear of Blood. Choosing not to equip right away, though. At this point, our list of logical locations to check shrinks. We have the top area of the dance hall. We have the inner quarters. And not much else. Gozengatta remembering to save there, which is important. There are 4 checks in this area. If none of the 4 are worthwhile... Oh, okay. Satan's Ring may make it worthwhile. I always forget if that is better or worse than the Tear of Blood, but both are highly prized accessories. A fair question from chat. Why not head towards Legion or the Arena? We do not have the correct soul for that. We need Skula. Oh. The Peeping Eye has been located. I am jealous. And tasty meat. I would say this was a worthwhile visit to the top of the dance hall. Some runners may choose to hard reset at this point, so that they don't have to backtrack all the way to the save point. But right now, our path through this castle is seeming like your typical run-of-the-mill run through this game. With that in mind, folks, welcome to the inner quarters. As Mageius is trying to perform the alternate way to get into the backdash skull, and does so. Gozengatta trying to find a floor path, but this is not the room in question. It is the next room northeast of here that has our secret. There is the clock tower as well, but to my knowledge, that would be the sequence break through the floating gardens. Ah, but now we have opened things up. we have found the giant bat. Gozengatta is immediately going to this area right here, a secret ceiling, to check on one thing. We're right here, it makes sense. But that one thing is an S-stock. Considering our current weapon selection, it's a little late for that. But with the giant bat, we now have full logical access to the floating gardens. And Gozengatta is still hung up on that floor, but now finds the real one to break. And our first yellow soul, Undine. Undine lets us walk on water. So at this point, we are still progressing as if it was your traditional Aria of Sorrow run. Admittedly, with the giant bat, we could access the top floor. But I don't know if that is necessarily the best idea. Then again, some runners like to avoid the floating gardens and clock tower until they have to, so it may be a matter of preference. I will let you folks be the judge, as Gozengatta is taking out the 3-form headhunter. Now Mageius is learning about what is available in the shop. And Headhunter is down. Fun fact, you would normally get Undine in this room right here. However, there are still 2 items and/or souls we could get from here. We just have to watch out for the disc armors. The Valkyries and Callies, I believe, or Curlies, they do not present too much of an issue. It is the disc armors that typically scare me. And look at that. With Hippogriff available, we can access just about every area the bat can reach without spending our mana. We have most of our mobility covered at this point. We are only missing the ability to swim. Now Mageius is deciding to take a different path. The sequence break over here, you have to time your double jump to land on the edge of the platform. Because the edge is more rounded than the center part. Gozengatta has decided to explore the top floor right now. Nice jump over the final guard. And oh! That is where Skula is. Top floor. I mean, it is required. And with that Skula find, we have almost every option open to us. But Gozengatta does need to be careful. Oh, pause just in time. Getting caught by a succubus is not fun. That wrecking ball opens another path to the clock tower. And another red soul, the bomber armor. Ooh, there is one disadvantage to aerial exploration in the top floor, as I believe we just picked up a levitate. If you get hit, you lose all control until landing. Unless we run into a lot of Fire Weak enemies, I suspect we'll be keeping our current arsenal. As Mageius is now making his way down the lower dance hall. A fair question from chat. How many books have been found? I have not seen any books collected yet. For all we know, our books could very well be locked in the arena. Between our two runners, I would say that Gozengatta has an advantage, but not an outright lead. Gozengatta has been able to explore more of the castle, but we will not have a definitive answer regarding a lead until later on. We have a new weapon find. Gungnir. At this stage, it's not really helpful, but some may like its lightning elemental properties in the early game. And as Mageius reaches safety once again, Gozengatta picks up, I believe it was a mind-up. Now, I cannot help but wonder, did Gozengatta miss an area in the inner quarters? As Mageius takes out the golem. Ah, multi-hit weapon. I did not have that listed on my notes, but thank you for that. That could prove useful for Chaos. Now, Gozengatta is still trying to explore the top floor. There's the warp. Ah, and thank you for clarifying. We are... I don't know if blessed is the right term, considering this is Castlevania. We are not cursed by having one of the developers of this randomizer in chat right now. Gozengatta is deciding to take the western entrance to the clock tower. This is one of two times where this swinging iron ball mechanic comes into play. Thank you, braced. That is the term. By entering to this part of the clock tower, we are already close to another boss battle. And so it looks like Gozengatta will be taking on Death. is a common boss throughout all Castlevanias. And I think Gozengatta is deciding to stick with Belmont. As Mageius finds some tasty meat. Death in this game has two phases. The first phase, take out the scythe. Watch out for the lasers. Once the one scythe goes down, Death will compensate. I would like a reminder from chat. Did this game come out after Star Wars Episode 1? Because that is the vibe I get from Death with this double scythe. Regardless, once you take out Death's 4,444 hit points, do be careful, please. There we go. Take out the 4,444 health, and you have another boss down. The reward is Rahab's sword. It is an ice elemental weapon. There are only 4 more item checks in the clock tower. Make that 3, thanks to us finding Kicker Skeleton. Regarding mobility and accessibility, we are missing 2 souls. We are missing the Galamoth soul in order to recognize where time has stopped. And we are missing what is known as a rush soul. A soul that will let us transform into a hideous beast and rush across, well, across the area. Over to this part where Gozengatta is in. It can be annoying to get some of the items in here. Mageius activates the warp point. I'm going to... Oh, Mageius came from the other direction. I did not catch that. Oh, watch out for the spikes. Spikes can hurt in this game, especially if you are turned to stone by Medusa heads. If you do not have the slide ability, sometimes taking damage may be beneficial. And while we're through the spike course, we still have the pendulum course. I would heal up. And I would also hope that the reward is worth it. Tsuchinoko, at this stage we've taken out a number of bosses, so perhaps Tsuchinoko allows for purchasing items at a cheaper cost. One of the swords that could potentially be found inside the shop is the Claim Soleil. Mageius now has Hippogriff. So where is Gozengatta going? Oh. The disadvantage with Black Panther at times, you go too far. Now what is available? Let's sell what we have first, and make our decisions from there. Alright, Gozengatta has decided to stick with the Satan Ring, it looks like. Oh my goodness! Both Final Sword and Claim Soleil are available. We are fortunate enough to see one in the store, much less two. And I think Gozengatta is trying to figure out, is it just worth selling something now to get it? Or will we get the money later? Meantime, Mageius doing well against the Headhunter. And... ooh. Yep, Gozengatta has decided to stick with offense, choosing the Satan's Ring over the Tear of Blood. But for some reason, and I think this is what is throwing off Gozengatta as well as myself, not all weapons can be sold to Hammer. But at this point, Gozengatta is committing. Committing to the Claim Soleil. And Balmung has a backup sword. Not a bad strategy. As Mageius now has Undine. Claim Soleil is often runners' top 5 weapons. And I fully agree, Balmung will help for a later boss. And there is our first book. It is the ancient books that will tell us what we seek. But right now, Gozengatta has chosen not to open its contents. We do have the Headhunter Soul, though. At this time, we have 4 potential Yellow Soul. As I just realized, Gozengatta, I believe, found Tsuchinoko, but didn't use it for the shop. Oh well, the investment should still be worth it. This waterfall room can be annoying without Hippogriff or Giant Bat. But Gozengatta makes it through, as Mageius decides to tackle the floating gardens instead. It is not a bad idea. We do not know where all of our books are located. Gozengatta only has 1. 2 more remain. We do not know their contents either. At this time, we're not finding a lot of good items in the floating gardens. But then again, other than that book, the underground reservoir is not providing much either. Now, the clock tower is dangerous for many reasons. For one, only 2 save points inside. For another, all of the spikes. For another, the enemy placement can be mean. Oh, and Gozengatta has been, tricked by the forces of chaos. That was not a money bag, that was, I believe, a mimic. I could not read the name of that soul that Gozengatta picked up. Chat is saying Stolas, thank you. My apologies, I had a minor connection hiccup when that happened. We have 5 yellow souls, but we do not yet know which one is the one we need. As we welcome SpeedGaming 2. Welcome to the Castlevania Aria of Sorrow Randomizer Showcase Race. We are having this race because we are promoting a tournament that will have signups close in just about a week's time. And right now we have Mageius and Gozengatta showing how to get through this. Gozengatta, ooh, unexpected giant ghost pickup. Gozengatta is close to the warp point, but is choosing not to go there yet. Instead, going to check out some of the final items by the waterfall. Mageius trying to play this carefully as we have a second book. We have found 2 books in the underground reservoir so far. But Mageius is to find healing. Death in this second phase can be tricky, even to well-equipped runners. Still, using the weapons effectively at least. And nicely done. Chad is correct. We currently do not have access to the Forbidden area. But we will eventually get a soul that lets us. Not flying armor, though. Who were those characters? It may not matter. The short version, the one who was stabbed is Yoko Belnades. The one who did the stabbing is who we affectionately call Teddy Graham. The one looking after the lady is Genya Arikado. The girl who heals us at the beginning of the castle is Mina, I forgot her last name. Shopkeeper's Hammer. We are Soma Cruz, and there is one more player in this field. The one called Jay, who has lost his memory. But at this time, Mina Hakuba, thank you. But at this time, we are approaching another boss battle. Gozengatta has entered the underground cemetery. And where there is a cemetery, there is typically the many, the one, the Legion. For those that remember the vanilla game, Legion can be annoying. For the purposes of the randomizer, we do not have to worry as much. There are two ways to take this boss out. 1. Take out the core before taking out the four corners. 2. Take out the four corners first. By taking the four corners out first, you gain an additional soul. The randomizer never requires you to get Legion's soul. But if you do miss Legion's soul, that is it for that playthrough. But for now, Legion is down. There are 3 rewards. The Great Sword is one of them. It is a little late to have that Great Sword. As I was confirming my notes, I had missed the second item, but it was not a soul from what I could tell. Skeleton that has been given wings. And a wise owl. I believe the wise owl is Stolas. And the funny thing, we started the game with the winged skeleton soul. We always do. So the fact that we actually get to use that, well, I guess even this Castle of Chaos can have a sense of humor. I am now forced to wonder if we will find a canister that has winged skeleton or not. Oh, that was the one I missed. Thank you. That explains the lack of dialogue. It was because we already had the soul to begin. Oh my gosh, there was a free claim Soleil. Oh, I mean, I do not blame Gozengatta for making the purchase, but that's just ouch. We are now in the arena. Watch out for the Nova Skeletons. Their beam attacks will hurt you. Though chat is correct, we can sell the extra Claim Soleil in order to get extra food. Right now, Mageius hopefully has some spare food. And there you go. It is not every day we can say that it is worth selling a Claim Soleil. But in this case, it works out. And we can purchase high potions. We will be well equipped for our final battles. So now is the time that I will talk about the books. The 3 books give us hints as to what makes up the Dracula today. we know of 2 of those 3 characteristics. Those characteristics having manifested themselves as souls. We are still missing knowledge on the 3rd. Once we have the 3rd, we will know whether we can finish the game. While there are 3 endings to this game, for the purpose of this race, getting the best ending is required. You do not need to get 100%, which means you do not need to have Mina hold your hand at the end. But you do need the best ending. Skeleton Knight is a little late to bring into the table, though. Fair question. The best ending means that we embrace the 3 characteristics of Dracula, and we take out the chaos that powers Dracula. If we fail to match the characteristics of Dracula, we get the unsettled ending. If we fail to take out the chaos, we get the bad ending. We have to defeat chaos. The only difference between 100% souls and not in a defeat chaos ending is whether your hand is held. For the purposes of this run, so there was an item there this entire time. I always left that location behind. That explains it. Devil is our rush soul. And for that matter, I believe Mageius actually picked up Devil earlier, as we welcome SpeedGaming 3 to this Aria of Sorrow Randomizer showcase race. Gozengatta is right now dealing with the 3 arena trials. The first one, watch out for the big feet, then cause this iron ball to break the wall. Trial 1 is complete. Trial 2, Medusa heads, overlooking conveyor belts and spikes. The goal is just to survive. Use giant bat or skeleton kick to get through. There are some who say that this is the worst room in the game, and I completely understand, if not completely agree. And Gozengatta is making the smart decision to save right here. As Mageius needs to get some healing in soon. Being surrounded by the bone pillars and tritons do not help. Now, Gozengatta is kind of forgetting that in order to get through this, traditionally, you need... What? That is a thing you can do to avoid the third trial? I am impressed. The trial of memory does not need to be done. As long as you have the giant bat. Speaking of, we will not be facing the giant bat. We will be facing off against Valor. Valor is an interesting creature. We only get to attack the eyes. And we have to watch out for the Fists of Fury. I would heal up, Gozen. There you go. Mageius, meanwhile, dealing with the fish heads. A freebie Black Panther and a Mimic. Folks, if I have counted correctly, I believe Book 2 is in the Forbidden Area. So the question becomes, where? There are 2 locations inside the Forbidden Area. One where the Claim Soleil is, and one at the far end. Legion has already been defeated by Gozengatta, and I do believe all of the arena was checked. Mageius gets Stolas. Does not realize at this point that that is the key soul. And which room was missed, Kuchiri, in the Floating Gardens? In the meantime, Mageius is still exploring the reservoir, as Gozengatta is preparing to charge. You need Undine and a Rush Soul such as Devil. There is Book 2, just behind the waterfall. An Une raised on warm blood. That is the Allura Une. With that in mind, I do believe Gozengatta has all of the souls necessary to finish this game, and thus is in go mode. We will not need to enter the Forbidden Area proper today. Kuchiri brings up an excellent point. You may have all the souls that you need, but without the books to confirm, do you take the chance? Last night's race, we had one runner take a chance with 2 books. That proved to be a little tricky. But here, we don't need to worry. We have what we need. As Gozengatta prepares to battle. For those that like the game audio, you may need to turn it up just a tiny bit, as Gozengatta is taking out Teddygram right now. The first phase is basically like fighting Dracula. The second phase has multiple meteors spinning. But by equipping the correct souls, the wings of the winged skeleton, the nature of the Allura Une, and the intelligence of the Stolas, we represent Dracula today. You want to see that text by Teddygram. If you do not, then you are basically unable to win at that point. You can defeat Teddygram at this point, but you would be on track for the rushed ending. And, okay, fair point, Raster. Nature was perhaps not the best comparison to me, but I was running short on time for an appropriate comparison. Regardless, Teddygram is taken out. And that is where Galamoth was hiding. Now, I am bothered by something, as Mageius now finds the Bullet Soul book. So, technically, this is a Castlevania game. We have learned, after taking out Teddygram, that we are Dracula. However, there is one other character that needs to be brought into this. Do you remember Jay? Jay has regained his memory at this point. Jay is Julius Belmont. So of course, it is appropriate to have a battle between Dracula and Belmont. Mageius trying to understand how to use the Demon Soul, or Devil Soul, excuse me, but is currently leaving it alone. Gozengatta is now preparing for that battle with Julius. If you have a strong weapon that is not the Claim Soleil, this is the time to equip it. Belmont will work just fine. The reason you do not want to use Claim Soleil is right there. Julius Belmont resists holy weapons. However, Julius can deal a lot of damage if you're not careful. not want to trade blows directly with Julius. You have to be able to dodge that whip. And yes, the teleport dashes can get frustrating. Fair question, but no, Julius Belmont is not related to Ganon. And even if they were related, they would both deny the relation. Mageius currently looking through the enemy list, probably trying to confirm something. But in the meantime, Julius is now going more aggressive. He has unleashed the Grand Cross and will now use 3 of the most popular sub-weapons: the Holy Water, the Cross, and the Axe. The whip will still be used, but sometimes you have to force Julius to use it. And then that brings up the question, do you want to? Or do you want to deal with the special weapons instead? Julius has been defeated. And Mageius is trying to understand how to use Devil to rush under the waterfall. Undine is equipped. And as Mageius tries to figure out that puzzle, Gozengatta is in the chaotic realm. As we have, it looks like, our second place finisher of this race. We actually had 5 participants in this showcase, and Simo Rocks was in second place, 6 seconds short of the winner, Fuse. The Chaotic Realm is, well, chaotic. Sepia-tone versions of all the rooms we've seen, connected in a random order. However, the path you go through is always the same. Mageius, meanwhile, trying to get that soul canister, not realizing that it is the flying armor. Different swords have different swinging animations. And some souls can go through walls, while others cannot. I had missed a Demon Male pickup, to be honest. That electrified barrier does not need anything special to disarm it. It just lets you know that chaos waits beyond. Chaos is fought in two phases. The first phase, your soul abilities are held captive until you defeat the 3 statues. Just use your strongest weapons and good dodging in order to avoid the attacks. If you get hit by the circle, you will just lose MP as if you were cursed. As you defeat each of these statues, you gain the ability to use that soul type once again. With all 3 of the statues defeated, it is now time to take out the core of Chaos, which happens to look like an orb. This orb is protected by the 4 eyeballs. Each eyeball you take out lowers the defense of the core orb. Take out as many eyeballs as you feel comfortable with, and then take out the center orb. Watch out for the green homing orbs. If they get you, you will effectively take time-delayed damage. About half a second to a full second after you start to see the glowing effect. Gozengatta going to take out all 4 eyes. Has to watch out for the bone dragon and the bouncing shot. I would heal at this point. Losing to Chaos triggers the bad ending. And in order for this to count as a proper victory, we have to defeat Chaos. Gozengatta should be close, landing a number of sword swings with Claim Soleil. And that is time. Gozengatta finishes first amongst our 2 restreamed runners, 3rd overall, with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 16 minutes, 51 seconds. Let's see if we can get Gozengatta in for an interview. And just as I say that, he appears. Welcome, Gozengatta. GG.
Thanks, Wolfman.
So, I saw that you got a new personal best on your randomizer experiences here.
Yeah, super happy. I brought the time down by 30 minutes. This is my 4th run ever of the randomizer.
Congratulations. Though I do feel that part of the reason the time went down is because we had an early Black Panther start again. So what are your thoughts on having this particular soul show up so early again?
Personally happy because I'm still a nervous runner in races. I've run plenty of races and I've shaken it off in like games I'm more familiar with, but walking into this, I was a bit nervous. So seeing that gave me comfort and went, okay, I might be able to keep up with my opponents. And I just felt really good about seeing that early. At the same time, I didn't get many random souls because I did actually try to go for a couple of extra kills on enemies to get some random souls to help out, and I didn't get anything until I got that bomber soul later.
Chat wants me to ask about one particular thing. Do you remember picking up Tsuchinoko?
Tsuchinoko. I think so.
Was there a reason you did not equip it while visiting Hammer?
Right, that. Honestly, completely forgot. I looked at what it did and went, okay, cool. I'll use this later. Went back to Hammer and I never used it.
That happens to the best of us. I'm pretty sure I've done that on my own run-throughs of this game. But otherwise, how nervous were you that you were going to have to dive deep into the forbidden area before realizing, oh hey, that other book is right there?
Well, I went by the waterfall and I feel bad because I was there. I could have easily seen the book was there and I didn't. I completely missed it. So I actually had no idea the book was sitting there the whole time. And when I got Demon back, I went, okay, I've only got the gardens and the forbidden area. I'm gonna go to the forbidden area. And honestly, I lucked out because otherwise I was sitting here thinking, I haven't been to the gardens. There's a bunch of checks in the gardens. And it's just sitting there weighing on my mind the whole time.
I did see Mageius go through the gardens. Maybe missed one item, but otherwise had a full. Oh. Hang on. No! Mageius had lost to Teddygram.
No.
And, yeah, well, here's another disadvantage of trying to use Black Panther. So, just to clarify from chat, Mageius does have the Devil Soul, because I believe that one came from an enemy drop. But the difference is, Mageius doesn't have the book. He struggled to figure out how to rush under the waterfall. So, I guess the big thing that I need to ask now, as we have newer runners and potential runners for this randomizer, what advice would you offer?
Take notes, find something you're comfortable with, practice that. Like my first 4 runs, I lucked out getting really high powerful weapons early, and like I got the longest spear my first time going through, and I've never been comfortable using spears, but I used that the whole playthrough just to kind of push myself out a little bit in terms of my comfort zone. But once I got the column soul, I went right back to that. I saw that in the shop immediately, picked that up because that was my default comfort. Going into like a race setting, if you can get into your comfort zone, it's gonna help keep you on pace no matter what. And frankly, when I saw that, I just felt great. That just put me right back in my comfort zone, and I was good to go. But if you're practicing and learning something new, sit down with a map, go through, learn all the spots. I very rarely actually touched my map tracker this time. I just had it up on the screen to reference. But I actually felt really good. I did one run earlier today to prep for this race, and I focused solely on routing, not looking at the map at all. And then I only made a couple mistakes in here. I think I only went in a total of 5 rooms that I didn't mean to go into at all.
There were not that many rooms. There were not many wasted rooms visited, though. I think the one by the top floor teleporter did make me a little nervous. With the... I think the name is supposed to be the Scarmillions, but, you know how this game has slightly badly translated enemy names.
Yeah.
And look at that. Mageius, I don't know if Mageius got the book, but it has equipped the correct souls. And I think Kuchiri is a little upset at that. So, fun fact, Mageius had Allura Une from an enemy drop.
Oh, wow.
And fair question, Fuse, the first battle was just a game over. This is the first actual test point. So, this was a first try soul attempt. Sometimes the 2-book strategy can work, but this was one case where I fully admit it should not have.
There was actually a point that I completely thought I was going to have to 2-book that when I started heading to the Forbidden Area. I was sitting here going, I took note of all the souls I got. I don't like my odds.
And there we go, Mageius has taken out Teddy Graham. You know what, Gozengatta, if you haven't pulled up the commentary stream, why don't you? It does get a little lonely up here.
Okay, yeah, I'll go ahead and do that.
I'll make sure you have the link. So at this point, Mageius realizes that he is Dracula. And, at this point... Alright, we have confirmation that the Demon's Mail was an enemy drop, but apparently we had all missed which enemy dropped it. There were a lot of good drops this seed. I mean, Bone Pillars providing Succubus? That was nice. Ah, so we did have a forfeit in this case. So, I don't know if we should state in the race room, but if Ninban wants to know, it was in the arena. The Rush Soul was, I believe, which trial was it again, Gozengatta?
Wasn't the third... Actually, I don't think it was in any of the trials. I want to say it was the top left above the baths.
Ah, that part. I did forget about that. Oh, was it by the advanced creaking skull? That one room that I always forget about checking.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the one.
Yeah, for some reason I always forget that that room has an item. So this will teach me to remember for the future. But now Mageius is almost ready to take on Julius. When you first messed with this randomizer, how often did the floating gardens confuse you?
So I actually used the map tracker on Emo Tracker, so it took me all of like 10 seconds to figure out the letter scheme to where things went. And looking at it, you're like, okay, I get it. And then doing it's an entirely different beast. So the first time, I think I spent a total of like 12 minutes actually going through and going, I need to go right here, which puts me onto this tile, and then go left here to get to this tile. It was a pain. I feel pretty good about it after this afternoon, where I just practiced going to certain points, making sure I had a fluid route from one entrance or the other.
Alright, Collad Bulk is equipped. I do not know which souls Mageius is going with, but it is now time for Dracula versus Belmont with the roles reversed! But not the typical outcome. Julius Belmont can hurt, can't he?
Oh, I can definitely attest to that. He... I don't know how much you focused in on my fight with him, but I had a nice song and dance with him, and it felt like forever. I went through all of my high health potions except for one. It was... I felt really bad going through that fight. I just felt like I wasn't doing any damage.
Julius can be a pain, especially if you don't have backdash available. In the vanilla game, backdash is one of the first souls you get. And without it, you have to time your jumps much more carefully. Fortunately, looks like Mageius has swapped back to Belmont. Bit more distance to it, which allows for greater safety at least until second phase. And Fuse, that is a fair point. Normally it is the Belmonts that win. Oh, and Mageius takes another fall. For those that wonder how hard it is to be Dracula, let this be a good lesson. So Gozengatta, what advice would you offer new players when it comes to Julius?
Just going back to finding a weapon you're really comfortable with and using that. Personally, I've never used this sword before that Mageius is using, like before this run today, because I actually used this in the fight. And it was really comfortable just to have that reach. And honestly, I think it's actually easier having that reach in the second phase. But again, I'm speaking from lack of experience. It feels like I could almost manipulate him to throw his axe a lot more often just by doing like a mid jump, trying to do a jump reset for the attack, and then be able to keep him at about that mid range. I remember one point I actually mirrored his movements because of it. So I jumped back, he jumped at me, and then he went to slide, and I slid with him on the left side. A lot of it just comes down to positioning, and the best way I can describe it is it's kind of like a dance. You gotta feel it. So like if you see him jump back and you just attack, and he's gonna jump back from the hit, he's probably gonna slide. So you gotta just react to that and just kind of keep anticipating what's gonna happen and read him really, really well. That's honestly the best thing I could recommend. It was just a lot of act and react.
Alright, Mageius preparing for a double rush. Gets it off in time. But there's the other disadvantage. If you get attacked during the summoning animation, that magic is gone. And if all the magic goes away, then... well, you have to use a Mana Prism or Mind Up. Ooh, 3 hits with the double charge this time. Oh, but Julius was ready. Come on, Mageius. I know you can do this. Oh!
That was so close.
I agree. But we are at phase 2. You cannot attack Julius during Grand Cross. And I'm concerned that's too close. Oh! Only 1 hit, but
He
still
lucked
works.
out with that.
Ugh, how much damage can Grand Cross normally do again? Because I forgot.
Way too much. Way
Fair
too
enough.
much.
Fair enough. I am concerned that Mageius is running out of food.
I definitely remember that there is a melon pickup in the Chaos Realm, so...
But that requires you to take one of the side rooms. And that's if you even remember which side room.
That is true. I think it was the one of the first ones.
Oh boy. Man, battles like this make me wish I had Arc Demon and Lightning Dull like I did on one of those other races I did. That's a pretty strong combo. There we go. Mageius has taken out Julius. And is going straight to the Chaotic Realm. So now, we just have to get through this linear corridor of hodgepodge sepia tone rooms and hope for a good battle with chaos. And there's the inventory that proves that Mageius got extremely lucky. Oh, Mageius is retreating. Perhaps to buy more food?
I can't blame him. I mean, he is a little low on supplies.
I still remember one run that I did where I did not stock up, and so I was basically reduced to one super potion and maybe a pack of grapes or something, which meant I had to learn how to actually dodge all of the attacks instead of tank them. I can safely say it taught me to be better at chaos than any vanilla playthrough ever did. And yes, folks, whenever you have Black Panther and Hippogriff, expect a lot of bonks. Only 2,000 gold. Enough for 2 high potions, unless we start selling stuff. Mageius has bought what he feels is good, but there's some concern in chat whether enough was purchased. How well do you value mana prisms and mind ups when it comes to the final battles?
As long as I've got a dash soul, like demon, using that to clear out the bottom 2 is pretty much my high value usage. So before I didn't really think about it too much, but after the last couple of races that I've seen, and especially after the run I did earlier today, I highly value it a lot more. You just get so much damage. It's honestly, it's just a DPS race at that point. Just get it done as fast as possible, and frankly, that's one of the best ways to do it, just to get 2 of those out of the way. So I would at least want to see like 4. I think I had 2 small and 1 high when I went in, because I didn't even think about it at the time. I was too busy just going, oh, I can go. But he does also have that MP recovery ring. I'm pretty sure he still has that in his inventory.
One more look over the collapsing castle background, and we are back in the chaotic realm. Do not worry, there are invisible walls. And a fair question from chat. Does Mageius have the Claim Soleil? I
haven't seen it.
I do not believe Mageius purchased it or found it in that one part of the underground reservoir. Which reminds me. You know what else I'm about to bring up.
So, I've got one for each hand, I'm just saying. I was really happy when I saw it in the shop. I was really happy when I bought it. I was really sad when I had to sell my Darkness Blade because I actually really wanted to try that against Julius, and I did it anyway. It worked out. Getting the second one did not make me feel good at all. I saw this and went, oh, I wasted a lot of money.
And of course, that was compounded by the lack of knowledge about Tsuchinoko.
Yep.
Again, we've all done it.
Out of sight, out of mind. Didn't like I even said it out loud. Oh, I should use this when I go back to shop. Nope.
And
Yeah,
yes,
yes.
Claim Soleil was in the shop. You had to beat Death in order to unlock it, though. To my knowledge, I believe the shop only upgrades once after Death. Maybe there's a second boss trigger, but I don't recall it offhand.
Is it Legion? Because he definitely gets another set of barrels. I remember because he gets two sets of barrels.
It may very well be Legion. I still remember one seed where I didn't have to deal with much of the underground at all, so Hammer was only upgraded to level 2 effectively. Alright, Mageius is through the worst of the Chaotic Realm at this point. Honestly, once you get to the midway point, it's mostly home free. I say mostly because there's always this clock tower room.
I mean, you just got to get the Castlevania mascots back.
Do I really want to deal with the Medusa heads any more than we already have to?
I mean, you are revisiting the entirety of the castle, so why not just give them one last send-off? And by one, I mean two.
I never understood why Clock Tower had to have two representations like that, especially so close together!
Oh, that was tight.
Oh, and that was also tight.
That was quite the impressive head bonking there.
Alright, Mageius is safe. And wait a second. Chad is now saying you could possibly buy the ancient books at Hammer's shop?
Yeah, you can definitely do that. I've had that happen in a run.
I haven't.
That is definitely a thing.
Good to know.
Yep. The one that I did find, it cost 0, so I don't know if that's the same for all of them, but definitely bought a blue book for 0.
I think any story progression based items like that will— oh! This is what happens when you lose to Chaos. You fully embrace being Dracula in the traditional final boss sense. Julius Belmont would have come in for the battle. You do not get to know what happens with that battle, though. So when it comes to this Chaos battle, Gozengatta, Is there any particular statue you like to take out first?
I really try to get a lot of damage on the blue, and any chance that I get, focus on like the blue-red as they're coming around. Especially with like the Claim Soleil, you're gonna get that nice overhead sweep. You're gonna hit both, but honestly, there are times where there isn't a good situation where I can manipulate the dragon coming out from the blue soul, and then the shots. There will just be a time where you will get shot with one of them. And I think the crystal bullets do less. To always take the lesser two evils, but honestly, I hate the blue one.
The blue one is the worst in my opinion as well.
Actually, now that I think about it, if you kill the blue one first, you're gonna get your souls back. Does that mean that you could actually put your charging souls on, like just slam a drink, charge through them?
That is an excellent question. And I think that answer is yes.
That's amazing, and now I value that even more.
You just
Yeah, so
have
going back to that previous question about how much I value the mine pots, a lot more now. A lot more.
You know, perhaps on one of these future races, I am still very much on the fence on whether I want to be in this tournament. But I know that my times aren't that bad, all things considered. I should probably try one of these showcase races out myself.
Do it. It'll be fun. I joined for the fun.
We will see, folks. There are more plans for more showcase races before the tournament starts. I believe Kuchiri is the main one to talk to regarding when they will happen. Chaos 1 is down. But we still have Chaos 2. Mageius is going with Devil and Headhunter. But is not rushing the eyes. Instead, rushing the core. Oh, there we go. Now we're rushing a corner eye. Certainly not the traditional way of doing it, but it still works. Now, I know you mentioned that you like to take out the two corner eyes. How often do you worry about the top two eyes?
I typically kill all the eyes, especially if I have like a Final Sword or a Claim Soleil, just because I can do a nice chunk of damage with the Charge Soul, and then, ooh, he's got another bomb. He's got to heal. That was. But I haven't actually sat down to see if killing all four eyes is faster or just killing two eyes. Especially since you can use like Demon to be able to go through there and actually get all the damage out really quickly on the bottom two.
Oh, big combo!
Oh.
Now you're gonna have to give us a moment, folks. I need to confirm if Mageius is going to continue or not. Okay, looks like he is right now. Alright, re-equipped. Let's deal with chaos once more. And yes, we are all learning valuable information about this rando. I may have called a few races on this the last primary time this rando was featured on SpeedGaming, but there is still more to learn and discover. Perhaps in the upcoming tournament, maybe you will find something yourself. Please, if you are interested in joining the tournament or volunteering for it, the link to the tournament Discord is provided. We also offer a link to the general Castlevania Randomizer community. Come on, Mageius. I know you can take out Chaos 1. There we go. Alright, according to Fuse, it's rarely worth it to take out more than 2 eyes. Maybe if you have a lot of mind-ups and Red Minotaur, it's worth it, but... Oh boy, Mageius needs to be careful. I believe that Bone Snake dealt 93 damage. Uh-oh, Orb Bomb coming! The 2 lower eyes are taken out. And yeah, Mageius is sticking with Belmont.
Yeah, 45 per hit on the charge, and he's getting an average of 3 hits in. That's actually really good DPS.
As long as we can keep the magic up. And that's part of the problem right now. On Mageius' last shopping trip, never bought mana prisms or mind-ups.
That is true. He does have the ring that gives him the increased regen, and I know he did switch that back on. So that's definitely helping him out a little bit.
Excellent question from Fuse. If you time the Rush Soul correctly, the delayed damage does not take effect. But it's It's tricky. The snake cannot be damaged. The snake is not the goal. The Chaos Orb in the center is. Oh, healing just in time. Three eyes down. Oh no, oh no, 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 no!
Oh. I'm pretty sure that was within a frame. That was crazy.
I think you were right, Gozengatta. Come on, Mageius. Oh, got comboed. And folks, we have official confirmation. Mageius has decided the bad ending is enough. Though please, give your support for Mageius. He fought valiantly. But in this case, Chaos was a little bit too strong. Mageius does plan on coming in for an interview, though. But still, hopefully we have shown that this is a good randomizer for newer players, and experienced ones alike. As far as the choice of weapon goes, I don't think Belmont by itself was necessarily bad. The bigger issue, I think, was just trying to recognize the patterns. Though admittedly, having a good swinging weapon like Claim Soleil, that would also help too. Balmung is straight horizontal range. At this point, we are still waiting for Mageius to enter the commentary booth. So in the meantime, as far as what to look forward to tomorrow, we have Mega Man 9 in the morning, a number of Link to the Past randomizer matches, 2 for Super Mario Bros. 3 randomizer, and something called the Untitled Goose Game. Please make sure to follow twitch.tv/speedgaming and speedgaming 2 through 6 to catch all of these and more when it comes to racing. I believe Mageius is just about ready. And there he is. GG.
Thanks. I'm just not in a good mood today. It's just been one of those days.
It does take a little bit to get used to the randomizer, but walk us through how it went in your head.
Honestly, it wasn't that bad of a seed. It was more for me just because, honestly, I'm not the best at combat at low levels.
I know that feeling. Some of the earlier seeds I had done, I had taken out a lot of enemies to try to boost my levels, and it didn't always work out.
Well, considering the armor that I had and other stuff like that, it's just like, did what I could on that one.
Demon's Mail is not bad. Kudos for getting that off of a random enemy, by the way.
If you did notice, I had a lot of souls thanks to random enemies.
Which reminds me, you are one lucky son of a gun.
Only in the things that don't matter whenever when it does, but still.
It actually did matter. You saw where the Guardian's Soul book was, behind the waterfall.
Yeah.
The reason why you were struggling to get it, you did have Undine and Devil, but you had to cast it farther back.
Either way, I did have access to it.
And then it was first try Allura Une, when technically you got that soul from an enemy drop.
Actually, if I recall correctly, it was the first boss.
It was. You managed to get Allura Une off Creaking Skull. As I said, you lucky son of a gun.
How much did I actually get that was actually out of logic with those things?
So, to answer that question, Allura Une you got lucky on. Wing Skeleton, you took out Legion, correct?
No, that was our starting soul.
Technically, Wing Skeleton was available in a soul canister after Legion.
That is ironic.
Which means... Wow. I mean... just wow on that part by itself.
Considering that, honestly, we didn't even have the stat fixes on. You really want to see how broken luck is when it works? There's a reason we have an actual balanced flag.
I didn't see that flag available whenever I ran the rando.
It's under the under the secret words that you have to enter in to get it.
No.
It's there. It's there. Look at the actual guide. It's under what? Stat fix and then balance, if I recall correctly, are the two.
We can talk about that after this broadcast ends, because I am genuinely curious. About actually activating it, because I don't remember seeing that in the guide, but perhaps for future showcases, we will apply that patch, if we can.
It's one of those fun things. It's just like, because the enemy drops then become more of like, the further in, the better your drops. But with luck actually working, just start seeing a lot of crazy drops.
Wait, so luck doesn't work?
Nope. Let me rephrase that. It works, but not the way it's supposed to.
Today I learned.
We both have, Gozengatta. We both have.
Yeah, there's a reason why these soul drops are so rare. It's because it's based off of luck, and the luck stat really does not work properly. Hence why soul drops are so hard.
Very well. I will have to mess with some of these for next time because I'm now genuinely curious.
Yeah, they are kind of fun. They are really kind of fun on that one. It's one of the reasons why I like the actual wizard flag. I like having the ability to actually have someone as a wizard. It's kind of fun, especially early on when you aren't getting anything good.
All right. I'll have to do some tests on that. But any final thoughts regarding this particular race?
It was fun. It was an interesting seed. It was one of the things. It's just like, okay, I've got everything I needed. Okay, where's the books? Just had to double check. Like one of the spirits was like, oh wait, do I have it? Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the correct one. It's like, okay, yeah, I'm pretty sure I got it. By the way, where is the actual Russell? If anybody wanted to get the waterfall book, or did everybody just skip it?
It was the arena behind the upgraded creaking skull.
Wow.
You also had Devil from an enemy drop.
Yeah, I know.
Do you have any idea how lucky you were on this run?
Yeah, it was one of those crazy type things where it's just like, it was fun. That's one of the things I like about the randomizer for this game. It's quite fun. It reminds me of back in the day playing, old school Harmony to Despair, and a lot of the other good Castlevania games.
Well, there you have it. Luck can be a factor, but the rest comes with time.
That's not even counting when luck works.
I am seriously going to have to test that.
Trust me, you'll like it, and then you'll be like, this is good. Then when you get early drops or something insanely good, it's like, wait, no, this is busted when it's working.
With that in mind, please follow our two featured runners, Mageius 1 and Gozengatta. If you feel like I did a half-decent job explaining how this rando works, then follow me as well. We hope to have more showcase races for this randomizer within the next few days, and we would like to see more of you actually join the upcoming tournament.
As you can see, even though I'm, not that good, at least I made up for it with luck and just, trying different things.
That you did. To join the tournament, I will provide those links once more. And all you have to do is join the Discord, state you are interested, and make sure that you are set up for actually running. Do not worry, the community will assist. But with that in mind, folks, I think we need to wrap things up. Upon the conclusion of this, you will be sent to SpeedGaming, where we currently have the Zelda 1 Randomizer weekly race. Apparently, there is a Swiss Spectacular event going on right now.
Should be fun to watch.
Indeed. For everyone here, this is Wolfman 2000, also known as Dance Dad. Keep on grooving, and watch out for chaos. Take care.